visited there a year ago, actually, just over a year ago. And the farmers were actually talking about some of their own sampling, and higher up on the hills, when they were testing down, the nitrate levels were very high and the stock was off there. And then as it went down, it got lower and lower. So, there is something else going on there that we need to understand too as a community.
I was part of that as well. It was really interesting to go up to Tuka Wharekai. One of the interesting things that came out of that, though, with the farmers, is that a lot of the dockland is in some ways responsible for, some of the degradation of the Otu Wharekai. Because dock actually they're a big neighbour all the way along there. So interesting, everyone's got their own view of how it should actually, who's who in the zoo and who's responsible, I suppose.
I guess there is a fair chunk of that land that has come to dock more recently through the Nature Heritage Fund and through tenure review, so it has been farmed for a long time. So, yeah, who's who in the zoo is an important question. Oh, really? There you go. Nature Heritage Fund purchased Hakateri Station a long time ago, about 10, 15 years ago, which was farmed. So, yeah, a big chunk of it is former farmland, now public conservation land. Yeah.
Stays in the post.
Yeah. There's a lovely book written by the Nature Heritage Fund that outlines all their purchases over the years for nature conservation, nature heritage. Their 25th anniversary a couple of years ago. It's worth a read. Yeah.
Look at that.
Cool, yeah, and please do keep me posted on Plan Change 8. I'm very interested. Sorry I couldn't come and speak to that earlier. I was in Wellington. But, yeah, very interested to know how that evolves. Got a keen eye on that, which, as, we're concerned about separating the take and the use of water. It's quite a very live issue for us to understand, the implications of that for Canterbury. Yep. So what I just add on that with regards to the high country too, and, what I really don't want to see happen is pivot irrigators all over the high country, which is what that could open the door to, switching, transferring water from here to there, a bit like what's happened up at Grasmere Station recently in the Upper Waimakariri.
Okay, Grant.
Yeah, I mean, there's threats too from a proliferation of solar farms without controls, wind farms potentially without controls, all affecting our landscape values. I was just going to ask you, and one thing that I feel a little bit short of in terms of information is that there is a whole diversity of sort of environmental groups and other people doing all sorts of things across Canterbury, say, or New Zealand. But there's no kind of collaboration, coordination. We've got EDS on the one hand, forest and bird fishing, and there's a whole lot of others. You've just mentioned Nature Heritage Fund and other things. Do you have your handle on who's doing what? The next foundation that Peter talked about. So there's a whole lot of people doing great work, and cumulatively, what does that mean?
That's a good question. We work closely with EDS and a little less closely with Fish and Game, but yeah, we have collaborated on a lot of stuff. The Next Foundation is a philanthropy group that funds big projects like Te Manahuna Auraki and some of the work on the West Coast I think they're doing. They kind of have their own thing going on over there, and they work with DOC mainly, I understand. But yeah, lots of forest and bird people themselves are involved in other groups around the district. Or our forest and bird committee members are often committee members or founding members of other smaller groups working on specific projects. So at that scale, I am across it. But there's new stuff happening all the time. Yep, I learn new things all the time. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. Styx Living Laboratory out there. They do amazing work on the freshwater out that side. So the Estuary Trust, yeah, we do talk to each other.
It's almost like a repository. Is it something that the regional council could be a repository of? This is the group of, big list, doing these things, and when we are looking at the stresses or whatever on the environment, you can go directly to liaise with these people. Anyway,
I think there is some work going on around having a GIS layer that you can connect to various groups with. I'm wondering, is that something we're doing through Canterbury Maps? There is that is happening, yeah. And then a more specifically Christchurch-based one through the Community Waterways Partnership around the watery type stuff. They're working on something with that too. Joe?
And also at the Christchurch level, the Christchurch Enviro Hub is kind of filling that role. It's like a union of all the groups. It's fantastic. It's at the Climate Action Campus at the former Avonside Girls site in Avonside there.
And can I just add, it would be a useful thing to have a good picture of that inside the council. Harking back to the Plan Change 8 consultation, which is the thing that I was coming to talk to that day that I couldn't come, or when it was pulled from the agenda. I had actually, this is a consultation about wetlands, so or creating wetlands, as I believe was part of Plan Change 8. So I was really shocked when I saw the list of people that you had invited to make comment, or the staff had invited to make comment. There was every irrigator and water user that you can poke a stick at in Canterbury, and then there was 4 or 5 environmental groups, including Fish and Game, 2 branches of Fish and Game, Forest and Bird, and EDS. And I took the trouble of making a huge list of environmental groups that I thought that you should have invited to give feedback, including a number of wetland groups close in within Christchurch and close to Christchurch that would have an interest in this. So I don't know if you got my letter, but I did put a big long list of other groups that you might want to consider consulting next time on things like that. They're out there. I can give you a longer list if you would like one.
I think from memory we did definitely got the letter. And
yeah, good.
We did manage to add I think a few extra did get added in off the back of that. But yeah, that point had been, I think, identified in-house, and then your letter was like external confirmation of some of our council events.
Yep.
Well.
Yeah, I was a bit sad when I saw that list. I was like, oh no, because you're going to get biased feedback and then it will go a certain way. So yeah, really important to do a big scoping exercise out there to find out who might be interested in providing feedback on such matters beyond the 3 kind of main organisations in the environmental space.
John?
Just a couple of points, but to that one, I just would have thought that reinvigorating and putting new wetlands in was something that everyone at this table actually advocates for. So I really don't know what the big discussion is, and those that did come towards us and with us are absolutely keen. So I'm not sure what the biases are you're kind of referencing, because that's wetlands and set-asides and the like. Everyone is right on board with it, and it's about making it easier to do, not make it more difficult. But my question was, again, at this table, lots and lots of talk about decarbonising, and yep, got no problem. We need to do it today. But equally, we sit there and go, but we'll need to study this and we'll need to think about that. We don't want to put our wind farms there. We don't want to put our solar panels there. How do we get a balance when we need renewable energy today, and yet we get so hung up on where we might put it, where we won't put it? We're not going to bloody well put it anywhere, and the outcomes that a whole bunch of us are keen to see forwarded don't happen because we keep going round in circles. So it's a rhetorical question, but it's one that frustrates the heck out of me. We won't agree on a whole bunch of things, but decarbonisation, renewable energy, we need it now. How do we make it happen if we sit and go, we want it, but we don't know where we want it?
Oh, look, there's masses of land out there on the Canterbury Plains where there's land use happening that shouldn't be happening, that's causing terrible water pollution. Put it there. The biodiversity is already gone from those places. You kind of have a win-win where you can, you prevent the pollution from happening, and you've got a flat area to put solar farms near where the energy is used. is what I say to that.
That's fine, and I'm talking with people maybe trying to do the same myself, whether it comes off. But then the rest of the community doesn't want the bloody solar farm anyway. So
Rooftops, urban rooftops.
It's about developing a strategy for that.
but we need to bloody well do it, not talk about strategy.
Well,
Yeah, no, agree.
Excuse me, Vicky. I'm going to have Nikki. I'm going to have to go. Thank you.
Kia ora, Claire. Really good to see you. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Because I know it was added on to what's turned into a much longer day than I'd anticipated. And so, anyway, and thanks, Nikki, for and to Ruth coming so late, sort of like late, no, even later notice for you, Ruth, that you only found out yesterday. So thank you for your time. I think it was valuable. It's good, always good to build those relationships, and it's lots to take on board. I think Catherine's made some notes as well and things, and I'll follow up on a couple of those things, particularly the CBS and trying to wrangle those districts to come on board right across Canterbury. So there we go.
Yeah, good stuff. Yes, they need a little incentive to come along. So yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time that you've given us today and the conversation, and I look forward to coming again. Yeah, thanks heaps for organising at such short notice. Kia ora.
Welcome. Kia ora.